Yeah. Yeah. The People Podcast. I'm on it here to make you think and take them black to the basis. No gimmicks needed. Our melanin was designed for this greatness. Power is created, the most high, assigned to the favorites. We win as a nation, it's mutual. Young black man, you enough. Ladies, you beautiful. Don't let them tell you different. Your energy can't be shifted. Created, nor destroyed. That's a scientific fact, so opinions is all forward. This is higher learning, higher conscious awareness of self. This that undisputed, undefeated, and in the belt. This your grandma cooking on Sunday morning. Don't touch the fridge. God is good all the time and all the time. Yeah, you did. This is music for the mind. Lyrics to touch your soul. Melody for high frequencies.
Yes, sir. We are back once again with another episode of Black to the Basics, aka the People's Podcast. I am your host and one half, Mr. 52 the Boss, here with my co-host.
It's your boy Jerv, man, checking in. What's going on, people?
Yes, sir.
We are back. Another opportunity. How was your holiday, bro?
Chance to talk to the kinfolk after this great Thanksgiving holiday. Hopefully,
Yes, sir.
everyone have a great Thanksgiving, man. How was your weekend, man?
Yeah, my weekend was cool, man. Got a lot done. Relaxed again. Family came over for the holidays. I can't say all of my food was a 10 out of 10. Everything that I had
It was that
over
pumpkin pie you had, wasn't it?
I didn't have any pumpkin pie at all. But no, everything that was brought over and that was made and prepared was a 10 out of 10. So it was cool for me, man. So got my nephew, my nieces came over, man. My nephew he crossed over. He is one of the bros, you know what I'm saying? So shout
Oh,
out to
he
the nephew.
okay.
So he went through with it and he made it, man. So shout out to him, man. So it was good to see family and friends, man. What about yourself, bro? How was your holiday?
Oh man, it was out of this world. One of the my Thanksgiving probably was top two, and it may not been number two. Top two Thanksgivings I've ever had. Like I said, it may not be number two. But before I even tell you about, my Thanksgiving, I'm gonna switch my background right fast because I gotta show this dynamic work by the good folks at Tailored Arts. See if I can switch my background right fast.
Yeah, yeah.
Boom! So for those in virtual land, you can see this amazing JWE, as Black youngsters say. My name is Jay Weeks, and I represent three letters JWE. Shout
Shout out for
out
that.
to me, amazing mural here in my studio, Jay Weeks Entertainment. Man, it's out of this world. It's a logo that they created, and it's just amazing to see them bring it to life on a 17-foot wall. So amazing work there. But to get back to Thanksgiving, man, Thanksgiving was amazing, man. I had family come from Florida, Maryland, New Orleans, here in Atlanta. It was
Hmm.
great, man. We were about 15. Nah, actually, I think we were close to about 18 to 25 people, somewhere around that range throughout. Great time. Got family got to stay over for a few days. So that was cool. Had my sisters, my daughters, had all my kids here, my niece and nephew.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was just a great time, great laughs. We made a whole weekend out of it. Like I said, we had Thanksgiving Thursday. We had family. I think movie night on Friday, or it's Friday/Saturday. We even had a little game night going on
What you
on
had
Friday
the
night, Friday
blackjack?
Saturday.
What you had going on?
Just a little gambling, just trying to teach the kids, knowing where to hold them, knowing when to fold them, know when to walk
Right.
away. And for a lot of the kids we see, they did not know how to walk away. A lot of the kids went left, the table broke. And I like,
Oh,
hey,
gotcha.
this is life lessons. My son King got his money doubled up and say, hey, I'm gonna catch y'all on the next one. Left the table. So, man, we just got to have, so much fun. At one point, I even felt like I think I lost my phone for like a day and a half. So,
Oh
and
man, depending on how that worked, man. Sometimes I think that was probably one of my best moments, though, man. When my phone had broke,
oh
and
yeah, yeah.
I was without my phone for a day. I mean, it was just like
Oh yeah.
It
So
was
yeah,
lovely.
it was like Thanksgiving Day. Earlier that day, I went out, went to the gym with you. Uh, got back to the crib, like, all right, you're gonna start for the rest of the day. Couple family came in early. So what I did was move the car. I'm trying to move the cars in the driveway a certain way. Then I had to move them because we wanted to play. The boys wanted to play basketball in the driveway, so I had to move the car. And I looked for my phone all that day. I was pinging it, watching. I was like, man, forget it. Clearly, I know it's here. I
It's
just don't know
somewhere.
where.
You don't know where it is. So where was it?
It's pinging. Dog. So the last place I thought to look was in one of the family members' car because that was the first car I moved. So clearly, when I moved their car, the phone was literally sitting on the front seat.
Oh
So
yeah.
I'm thinking that I didn't put it in lost mode. I didn't lock it just in case somebody got it. People say that they your family, but people get
Yeah.
little handsy with them electronics.
Right.
I didn't put it in lost mode, put dial shall not steal as a message going across the screen.
Oh,
I'm like, I know it's here, but after like a couple hours, I was like, man, whatever. And then finally, I was like, you know what? I did move cars. Check my car, check the wife car, and I was like, let me check the family member's car. Sitting right
right
on the
there on the
front.
front
By
seat.
then, it was already like midnight. I was like, no. So we didn't take any pictures or anything, but I think that was so dope. We all realized like, yo, we didn't take any pictures, no videos. Like it was just straight family from like I said that Wednesday to like Saturday night.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was so clutch, man. So it was great.
That's what it's all about, man. Getting back to, like, I say it all the time, man, like just being in the moment. It's good to have pictures to capture moments, man, but when you can really just enjoy family and friends, you know what I'm saying? That's what it's all about, man. So I actually had the opportunity to visit Weeksville on Thanksgiving, after my
Oh
family
yeah,
kind
it's
of
you
dispersed.
came. It still was cracking.
Yeah, it's
You
still like,
came with half people was gone, but it still was lit because we still had three different parties going on.
yeah, yeah.
We
So
had the
it was
outdoor
dope.
fire pit going on, the
At
kids
the end of the
downstairs going
joint.
on, and upstairs.
So
You actually walked in doing Def Comedy Jam.
yeah, yeah. And I think I fit right in, man. Like I said, man, shout out to you people that came up. I think it was from like Florida.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
it's white
saying?
people from Florida.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so man, we turned it to Def Comedy Jam, just joking on everything, man.
Yeah, it was I had a good time, man. So needless to say, my Thanksgiving and my entire weekend was good, man. So that's what
Yeah,
it's all about, bro.
it's definitely a
Anything
great
else?
holiday, man.
Any projects you get into this weekend? Just 'cause I know
I
you
couldn't.
always.
I was just chilling with the fam the whole time. Like I said, my sister and Taylor Doss did the mural, so I was super hype about that.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I think other than that, I didn't really have anything. Just trying to enjoy some time with the fam. I got to break. I got to break open my fire pit a little bit more. I tried, like I said, I got so much firewood cut around around the house.
So you good though.
I was going joints like, I'm gonna try this different method here to see if this works. So, man, we was just trying, joint. The fire had died out at one point. I'm like, nah, I got it. Don't worry. Watch this. Brought the joint back to life, switched it up, and like, all right, this gonna burn a different way. So, man, I definitely got to try a bunch of different techniques, and it was crazy because the kids, I didn't realize this because again, when you hosting, you
You
going back.
moving around, moving the groove, right?
So on the last time I go back, the kids had brought their whole tents out in the back. So they had their whole tents posted up outside by the fire pit, chilling. They
Yeah,
had
yeah.
tents, blankets, sleeping bags. Like they was good. I didn't even realize that. I'm like, where these tents come from? And brought the projector out. So man, they was watching the game and all types of joint, man. So it was just great family fun, great food. Food was amazing. Got to play some games. So man, it was a good Thanksgiving, a
Yeah,
great
yeah.
Thanksgiving,
Like I
I guess
said,
you
I got a
say.
chance to do my Keith Lee review, you know what I'm saying? On different dishes, different plates.
You have any
You know?
bad ones or ones
Oh
that
no.
weren't 10s?
Everything was eight and a half and
Oh,
ups, you
that's
know what I'm
high.
saying?
That's
So
high.
like I said, man, it was good, man. Like turkey, ham, all that, man. It was desserts was good, you know what I'm
Did you
saying?
smoke a turkey or something or
Yeah,
deep fried or something?
deep fried the joint, and we had a traditional. So we had two different types, and then we had ham. Everything was good. So for my first year, deep fried turkey, phenomenal. So yeah, nobody had to throw my food away. You know what I'm saying? Everybody, as like you said, took the or stole. I don't know where all my what do you call it, Tupperware, dishware, whatever you want to call it. Man, I had a cabinet full of stuff,
Yeah.
Everybody just ransacked. So, needless to say,
They helping you out because a lot
no,
of
they
people
didn't.
still got a lot of people still got leftovers right now.
Oh, I still do too. So,
No,
this
no, sir. I was done Saturday really for me. I had one last plate when I got out of church on Sunday, but it was a wrap. Everything was good for me.
yeah, we just finishing up, man. So yeah, if you're listening, if you was at my house over the weekend, man, I need you to bring my dishware back
Nah,
because
just
yeah,
keep it. You
no,
be
we
alright,
don't
man.
keep
It's just
it.
Tupperware, dog.
Yeah, man. So I know typically, right? We just getting back from the holiday break,
Yeah,
kind of thing, and normally we drop a talk to a 52 man, but it's just so much, right? That
that is
took
true.
place kind of the last few days, man. So if you don't mind, I just want to switch it up this week, man. We just gonna kind of like, we're gonna get right into it because like I said, there's some things that I
Uh-oh.
feel like we need to address. You know what I'm saying? We are the people's podcast, and who would we not be if we don't address some of these things, man? And the biggest focus point tonight or today is no one cares about certain situations until it gets home. You know what I'm saying? So
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
we gonna
definitely.
get right we get right into it, man. So I'm gonna kick it right off, man. Do you feel like our culture we have a selfish mentality? And what I mean by that, hey, if it ain't me, I don't care. So what's your thoughts on that?
Oh, he says, I,
We get
by
right
that
into it, bro.
definition, how you defend that, nothing wrong with that. Selfish in a sense, like we only care about ourselves. There are moments I can say that we definitely have where it's like, if someone else is struggling or going through some things, it's like, at least it ain't me. I've been in events with couples, and you see that one couple that always gonna mess up the party. You see them getting into it, and you look at your wife like, whoo, that ain't us. Like, I definitely, had moments of like that, but I don't think there's a necessarily hey, we looking in to be selfish. I think we have been taught at a very young age to mind your business. To keep stuff to yourself, mind your business. Grandma used to tell them, hey, our business is our business. Keep it in the house. So I think a lot of that kind of plays a part in us kind of not being nosy and
Okay.
and kind of prying. But yeah, so that aspect of it, I would say not necessarily. We do have components of that kind of staying to ourselves, but I think those all come from different places.
Okay,
Certainly.
got you.
What
Well,
What
I'm gonna
about
say
you?
I think we are, yeah, as a whole. Yeah,
Talk,
I'm gonna just
talk
keep
to
it a bean. Like for
talk to
instance,
'em.
right? Let me a prime example. So like, if someone was breaking into homes in the neighborhood, right? You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? People live by the don't snitch code or don't call the cops code, whatever. But the minute they break into your house, you outside. I know you know who did it. Bring it back. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
So you didn't care until it happened
Yes.
to you. You know what I'm saying? Or like, a situation as far as like, we take COVID for example, right? COVID when it first started, you know what I'm saying? It was a bunch of memes, bunch of
Yeah.
jokes, you know what I'm saying? Like until it got over here, then it was, oh man, what's going on? Then when we saw
Yeah.
how like COVID like pretty much like ravaged through the communities
It
and
was a lot
everything.
of misinformation about
It
COVID.
was. It
It was a lot.
was.
It was a lot of it was it don't affect black people. It ain't here in the U.S.
And then
If
now it's
you do
here.
this, you can avoid it. Like certain
No,
things. It
dog.
was a lot of misinformation going
Yeah,
on.
but we didn't take it seriously until people around us started being affected by it. Like, you know what I'm saying? When you're like,
Yeah, that's true.
oh, this is real. Or like people
Yeah,
are in the
people started getting in the
hospitals.
hospitals, and
You know what I'm saying?
older
So
folks was like, hey, they started shutting down places. Like, hey, you can't come in here. Like, what you mean I can't visit my grandma? I always go visit my
yeah,
my grandparents.
So
They had to separate people, so it definitely took a turn for the
yeah,
worse.
I just think that's one of the biggest ones that stick out to me as far as like situations. Like I said, we take things for granted.
So take it for granted, yes.
Okay.
Selfish. I don't think we're being selfish in that regard. Like only thinking about ourselves in that. I think it just wasn't. It
Well,
wasn't a priority at that time.
my
Until
family, like the outlet was my family good. Ain't nobody sick. That's their problem, right? And then when you start seeing people around you getting sick, I was like, oh my God, we really need to start social distancing now, or you need to wear a mask, you need to do X, Y, and Z. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah.
It ain't no fun to the rabbit had that gun. You know what I'm saying? That's
This
what
is
my
big facts.
it's,
Big facts.
so. But yeah, I just think it's just like you said to your point. It's like different. I could see it on both sides. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
other than COVID, man, can you think of a situation that we didn't take seriously at all until it started affecting us or affecting you personally. You know what I'm saying?
Huge one for black community is deaths. You normally don't take it serious until it's something. I mean, we can have people we hear about all the time about, killings or shootings, especially here in a lot of places in Atlanta or any
Yeah.
metropolitan, right? Detroit, LA,
Yeah, everywhere.
Chicago,
Philly.
DC,
Yeah.
Baltimore, any one of those metropolitans, you hear about those and it's like, wow, they killed 10 people this weekend in Chicago.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, all right, well, whatever. But if you have that friend or family member or co-worker or something who lose their life, then it's like, wow.
Yeah.
Now it's like, man, we got to do something. So that's definitely something that we don't necessarily take serious until, like you said, it is somebody that we know,
Yeah.
or or something that's happened to somebody or experience who losing a loved one. Like if you know somebody, like, dang man, they just lost, this family member. It's like, dang man, that's crazy. This senseless violence. Then it becomes a factor, I think.
Yeah. For me, a biggest one is this might be a little odd, man, is natural disasters, right? So, stuff happens all around the world all the time. Like you see, like this hurricane or this tsunami or this storm happens to these countries over here, and like, oh,
Hmm.
okay, whatever, it ain't us. But then you take a situation like, like Hurricane Katrina, right? A
Hmm.
lot of families were, displaced. I think that's, I don't know if that's the correct word,
Yeah,
but
yeah, they definitely.
lost their homes,
Black people still
or
that never
like,
go back to New Orleans, or a lot of
right,
places not fixed from New Orleans still.
didn't take it seriously. Like, what I'm saying? Like, for instance, we had a big storm pass through Pensacola. My grandparents are, they're up in age, and they're like, you know
Mhm.
what, man, we good. We always been here. But then, like, Pensacola Bridge was taken out. Like, people
Yeah,
were
that
losing
barge
homes.
was out for like 18 months.
Yeah, it was a while. So I just feel like that's another scenario like that we don't take seriously until, like, oh, we stuck in the eye of the storm now. Now I need help. What do we
Yeah,
do?
that's definitely a huge one. I think also with ours, we have to factor in though too. A lot of our nonchalantness or gripes as it relates to natural disasters definitely is jolted by our distrust of the government
Okay.
because we look at other countries, something happened, disasters happen, or this happened in this country, and it's like $1 billion is sent over here, $1 trillion sent over here, and then we in here
Yes.
begging people, to get student loans forgiven, or increase the minimum wage or different things. So
Or
I think
help
a
with
lot
like
of
the homeless
those,
population. You know what I'm
right? It's
saying?
like
Like
hurricane here or tsunami here. It's like, oh, we gonna send $1 trillion. Hey, you gotta go.
benefit
And like
concerts.
you said, when it's on our home turf, I mean, we did a complete disservice to our people. I mean, so many lives, thousands. They don't even know the tally of just the lives that were lost in Hurricane Katrina, man. And
Yeah.
for some reason, I have a huge fascination not on the disasters, but just something about Katrina intrigues me. And I've literally seen every documentary. And if there's out one you think I haven't seen, please send it to me because I
Yeah. Yeah.
definitely will watch it full fledged. But
So I know
just
you saw the
seeing,
Spike Lee jump that he
yeah,
did.
saw
Okay,
the
gotcha.
Spike Lee. I seen the History Channel one, the PBS, like the one that was on HBO Max. There's another one that had to do with the Six Flags that kind of indirectly talks about Hurricane Katrina.
Yeah.
But just seeing like this our own people, our own soil, like, and people are more concerned about saving the tourist attractions and things like that, where people on
Yeah.
roofs dying. And let me tell you, I have been in one situation where I had my house flooded due to a storm here in 2009 in Atlanta. There's no way I would be able to even cope or know how to handle a situation like having water up to your ceiling.
Yeah.
Like,
In your
I
home.
was panicking and it was only up to my knees, and I just kind of froze. I didn't know what to do, man. And that's why to this day I don't even keep shoe boxes because everything was just floating. Dress shoes, I mean, regular stuff. I mean, but not stuff that I didn't even care about, but just seeing this is just something that's on a mild scale that in a few hours it went away.
Yeah.
This is stuff for people getting displaced, something they lived their whole life. Everything you've ever owned, gone.
Yeah.
Right. And you got a government that doesn't care. So to those, I would say some of that is definitely rooted in the distrust that we have for, the government. But
Yeah.
definitely when it comes to things like you said, we don't care. Like I said, it ain't here.
Right, right. And that brings me to another point, bro. Like, you know, us in our community, man, we often use like laughs and jokes, right? to
Mm.
cope with certain situation, man. So do you feel like that's more of a defense mechanism? Like, man, this is really messed up. I don't know how to handle it, so we're gonna make jokes about it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, it's a coping job. I don't think it's defense. I think that's just for us. A lot of things, and for a lot of people that look like us, that we've had very challenging lives. You know, some of our elders have had challenging lives, and some of us
yeah,
still face a lot of things, depending on where you live, depending on your circumstance, depending on your financial status. We've had a very challenging life, and have not had the best hand dealt to us. And it's like that mindset of, laugh now, cry later type. I mean,
yeah, yeah.
got the logo right there. Laugh now, cry
Right
later.
about right.
Um, but it's just that's just the way of us dealing with it. When you have so much bad, it's like one of those that saying that your people used to say, like, dang, if I wouldn't have, bad luck, I wouldn't have no luck at all.
Yeah,
Or,
yeah,
or it's like, here go another thing. What else can go wrong? It's like when you start to expect things gonna happen or go wrong, you kind of just like, all right. And it becomes so bad that you can't do nothing but laugh. Like, okay, so I
yeah.
lost my
What's next?
job, my car broke down, I can't get my child from daycare, and my wife just told me that she don't, she want a divorce. Like, like what else can you do? Like, I
Yeah,
can't
yeah,
be mad anymore. I think that's our way of just kind of handling situations, and it kind of not necessarily eases, but for that moment, it's like something that you don't worry about because it's like, all right, my lights turned off. Okay,
yeah.
let
Just
me
keep it
burn these
moving, right?
candles. Like, it's just a way for us to kind of deal with that where we're not so. I mean, because we get beat down every day, all day for every
Yeah.
single thing. You're judged, you're discriminated against, you're expected to do the wrong thing, you're grouped up with this person and that person. One black person does something wrong, everybody's
The whole
then
culture wrong.
right, everything. So it's like we deal with that on a regular basis. So it's like, oh, if that's what I'm dealing with every day, I'm not gonna sit here and beat myself up no more. The world has already beat me up.
Yeah, yeah.
You might as well laugh about
So,
it.
so let me ask you this, right? So because, and that's a great point. So because we do handle situations like that, because I mean, I've
Yeah.
been in scenarios. I'm like, man, to your point, like, look, man, like, hey, man, well, I don't know what I done did, man, but just stop. Like, you
I'm
know what I'm
sorry.
saying? Like,
I'm
I'm
sorry.
sorry, right? You know what I'm saying? But do you think that affects how others look at us? It's like because we take things from the outside looking in, it looks
Yeah.
like a joke. So
Yeah.
it's like, well, if they don't care, then why should we care? Going back to like the Hurricane Katrina situation, right?
Hmm.
I remember vividly like the interviews of like you had like the war veterans, people that gentlemen was like, man, I fought for my country for years and
Hmm.
I can't get food or water or shelter right here. But once again, other countries experience tragedies and
Yeah.
we rush to send aid, man. So do you think that plays a part into that? Like, well, if we don't take things seriously, why should someone else rush to our aid or take us seriously? What's your thoughts on that?
I think black people are very interesting. And if you're not black, it's one of those things we can't even really put into words. We're mythical, we're mythical creatures. Like, so the things that we do, I mean, look at my hair, like how our hair grows, how the sun activates us, how we can look at each other and speak a language and not say anything at all.
Yeah,
Right? We say certain things and you know exactly what I mean, right? We can say certain things and I would know that, but if someone who's not of this culture would have no
you
idea.
have to be what you're talking
Or we
about,
can
right?
say the one saying and have 10 different meanings.
Yeah, like
So
you good?
yeah, like that can mean a whole bunch of things, right? So depending on how you say it. So I think for us, we may get criticized for that because they don't understand, but that's how we maneuver. It's not fair that we're like if we're already in a bad situation, if you were in a bad situation and you ain't got things and things are already going bad for you, you can't beat yourself up anymore. Like
Yeah,
okay, all right, I'm in a bad situation. I'm not gonna beat myself up anymore. But that doesn't mean that I don't care about it. That just means I'm not gonna let me get me
that's just
down.
how you get through it, right?
Like
Okay.
and if it's not that, the next thing they're gonna say, pray about it.
Yeah.
We're gonna use religion. So it's like one of those things. So I just think, yeah, we can get demonized or like criticized for they not taking serious. It's like, but we got to find our way to deal with it. But I think we are better at coping with things, and other cultures are not.
Yeah,
great
because
with situations. They one bad thing and they like ready to kill themselves.
my life is over with. Nah, you right
We
about that.
like, hey, this is another Tuesday for me, dog. You trying to go to the club? What's good? I thought you just lost your job. Oh
What
well.
yeah, he was saying, I'm gonna get my apartment in my mama name.
Boy, gas take on E, but all drinks on me.
All
Like,
drinks. So we just found a way.
yeah, we just find a
Gotta get
way
through
to
things.
take the worst situations and just live with it, man. I mean, even if you look back at the slavery times where they like, oh, we're gonna give these members the scraps. There y'all go. Get this pig. We in
Yeah.
there making bacon, ham, sausages, all types of
Some
things.
of the
Like
best food that's ever
we
invented.
right, we can make things work no matter the circumstance and situation. Like you said, you can try to bury us. We just gonna bloom. We plants, we flowers, man. We gonna keep growing. So that's just how we handle situations. I definitely say.
So let me ask you this, man, because still staying on track with that, right? So because we, once again use that as a coping
Yep.
mechanism, right?
Mhm.
Situations like domestic violence is like a joke sometimes in our culture until it's somebody close to you or
Mhm.
somebody like directly like affected by it.
Yeah.
Why do you think there's such a lack of urgency when it comes to things that way?
I don't even necessarily feel like it's a culture thing. I think it's a
Just
country thing. Like,
country. Okay.
yeah,
All right.
we as a whole, look at what we see on TV, though. Like
Yeah.
our joint is rooted in violence, right? That's the American way. When you go to other countries, they look at us as people that are violent, right?
Violent. Yeah.
Yeah,
Afraid
like
of us. Pretty much.
right, because they
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
like these are violent people. I definitely feel like we have a history of known to use violence for pretty much everything. I mean, we go to war for everything. We take if we want some land, hey, we take it our land now. We're gonna change sayings, change cultures, change everything just
Yeah.
by violence. So I think we see that and it's like that's normal. But then you see domestic violence take place on TV, on social media. It's shared every day. It's on there. It's normal. So what happens is if you see something so long, you think this is regular. This is a
Right.
regular day. You don't see something and like, oh wow. Like think about if you watch and you watch this show. I can't watch too much because it's too much rape for me. But Law and Order S is it SVU?
Yeah, it's a bunch of them, but
Okay,
Law and Order
SVU is the
SVU.
one, right? That's the
Yeah.
one where it's like specifically with like rape cases, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yep.
I can't watch more than one episode. It's just too much for me to take, right?
Yeah.
But people can binge watch, 10, 15 seasons and have no problem, right? Because
Right.
again, that's something that's on TV constantly. We see it all the time. We see different, skits and different things where people are doing things that resolves around domestic violence. It's just normal. And so now when people see that, it's a skit, it's a movie. We see it all day. We don't take that serious.
Yeah.
I personally hate domestic violence across men or women. I hate to
Yes.
see it. When it comes to that, I feel like it's a horrible situation, particularly for men. I'm 100, 1,000, a million, whatever percentage against men putting their hands on women in any case for that. I think
Yeah.
there's other ways to handle situations and not put yourself in that situation. Just like I feel like women should not put their hands on men at all.
Right.
But
it happens.
you say what?
I said it happens. You know what
No,
I'm saying?
it does. And I'm not trying to,
yeah.
condemn anyone or anything like that. I just have strong feelings against it. But I think for many people, they've seen their parents, they've seen their grandparents go through these things. It's normal. You got that one uncle that's gonna come to the party and mess it up because they're gonna be fighting.
Yeah.
And it's just, oh, that's Uncle Joe. You know how he do. Him and Aunt Tina, they're gonna fight.
But here's the thing, though, right? So, right, staying along with that,
Yeah.
Uncle Joe and Uncle Tina fighting. That's just them.
Yeah.
But if Uncle Joe walks over and put his hands
On your mom.
your mom or said wife or whatever, now it's a different scenario because
Yeah.
once again, now it's now this directly affects me. So now I'm
Yeah,
say
no,
something,
it should
you know what I
be
mean?
that. It should be when Uncle Joe and Uncle Tina going at 100%.
Right, okay,
I am
okay.
all for that. I've called the police on my neighbors. Like, look, I'm gonna give y'all the warning. Hey, y'all get under control. You going to jail, dog. Like, I ain't for a black man being in jail, but at the same time, you disturbing my peace. And if you're not gonna fix the situation, you going to jail.
Well,
Fulton
my man,
County ain't the place you want to be. Ask
yeah,
Slim Thug.
yeah, homie. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
I'm telling you, it's just I'm that guy. Like, because we hear now where a lot of black women are feeling like they're not protected, right? But then you
absolutely.
also hear stories of guys like, I seen this girl, getting beat up, and I jumped in, and then she got mad at me and called the police on me, or I got, what I'm saying? Or you have that family member that's getting beat on, and then all the other uncles and cousins, they come and they beat the dude up, and she's mad at them. Like, you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? So it's like, in those situations, like, okay, cool. I may not be able to intervene and jump in and say, hey, don't do this. But if I see it, you're going to jail. I'm telling you, I'm calling the police. You can say whatever, do whatever. Like, hey, this is what's going to happen. Y'all got to fix that.
So let me ask you this, right? And stay on those things. So like recently in the news, and that's why like we have to talk about it.
Right.
Like, there's been accusations that have come out. Hence, Aaron Hall,
A lot of people, from
Uncle
Cosby
Luke,
to R.
Jamie
Kelly to
Foxx,
Diddy
everybody,
to
right?
all types of people. Yeah.
Everybody, right? So when these accusations come out, you have like two sides of the fence. One is like,
Mhm.
oh, congratulations, glad you came out, you're finally speaking about it. And then you have another half that's like, well, how do we know that this is facts? Or almost
Mhm.
like,
Why you wait so
uh,
long?
why you wait so long? Or basically like trying to shut those people up from coming out. Like,
Mhm.
why do you feel, or what's your thoughts on that? Like, what I'm saying? Because to me personally, I think that, you're innocent till proven guilty, right?
Mhm.
And then
Why
I'm
you got
gonna,
fireworks on your screen?
I don't know, dog. I must be I
Oh
must
man,
be
got
on
an update on it.
I must be on fire right now for the people out there in YouTube
Oh,
land,
you,
man.
oh man, he got fireworks on his screen.
But like, do you feel like that makes people that are victims, quote, like for instance, let's take Cassie's situation, right?
Yes.
Recently, she came out, spoke about some things that have been taking
Mhm.
place for a numerous amount of years.
Right.
A lot of opinions on that. You think that stops people from coming out and saying anything, or unless it's happening to you, they don't
Mhm.
care about it? You know what I mean? So what's your thoughts
I think
on that?
as a whole, it's been frowned upon when people do come out years later, months later, weeks, later. But we also live in a world now where everything is kind of free and open, right? Where things before, like you said, if you had an uncle to fight, they may not fight around everybody, because they know certain people ain't seen them like this. So they try
Yeah,
to hide things. If you had that family member who was dealing with domestic violence, they hid it from everybody, right?
right.
I think now everything is out in the open. And people are pulling cars, and people are like, nah, I'm not about to sit here and go through this and have to deal with this. A lot more people are going to therapy. A lot more people are talking to people. So a lot more things are coming out. People are dealing with their lives and realizing, like, nah, I messed up, and trying to pinpoint why they are the way they are.
Right.
A lot of those things or have to do with some type of molestation, rape, domestic violence, or all the above in some cases. And so we're seeing that now, and people are now feeling free to speak their truth. And I feel like when, in the event if you are victims of those acts, and someone else comes out, it will give you kind of the courage to kind of speak freely to be able to tell your story. Are
Yeah.
you gonna get criticized? Of course, of course, but you can't put a time limit on when somebody can say, "Oh, well, when I know, yeah, ideally, like that was 20 years ago." It's like, yeah, but they still affected.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of us are dealing with childhood trauma from when we were 10, and we
And,
30s,
and don't know
40s.
and don't know how to process it.
Right,
So
and
who's to
still, so
say?
so
Yeah,
by that definition, should we not be able to be affected by that? So a lot of us have mommy and daddy issues, and we in our 40s and 50s. Should we say, well, now or well, you should deal with it then, or you know what I'm
yeah.
saying? I think we pick and choose what's important and what's not. Yeah, if somebody comes out with something 20 years later, of course you're gonna be shocked. But I feel like you should have a platform to be able to speak your truth, and the accused should have an opportunity to speak their side. But the problem I have now that's even bigger than people having their own opinion is when people come out and make false accusations and it's proven to be false. We see the
Yeah.
situation with Mike Irvin, playmaker, right?
Yep. Absolutely.
Being accused of something, they took him off the network, couldn't do the Super Bowl. Come to find out, didn't happen at all. Everything he
That is
said was completely true. He just got to go back to his work, and that was it. Nothing happened to the young lady. I feel like that is wrong. Because
Now,
you lose money, circumstance, situation, then it's just nothing happens.
so let me ask you a question, and regarding him specifically.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if you back in the '90s. You know what I'm saying? He was in a situation where there was some young women involved, drugs,
Hmm.
situation like that, and he went through that scenario. So, do you think his past played a factor into the situation that took place? Because,
Yeah,
like you
I
were
mean, yeah,
saying,
he ain't
okay,
have the cleanest, background. I mean, he's been alleged to be using drugs and all types of things. But I
right,
mean, to be fair, he's made a clean image of himself. He's doing
correct,
great things. So
turned his life
everyone should
around.
have the opportunity to redeem themselves or make a better life. We all make mistakes and do things, but from him in the 90s to now, completely different person.
Yeah,
Even if
absolutely.
you don't even know him that well, you can see from him then to now, completely different person.
Yeah.
Someone who's got themselves on track and trying to do things. But everyone has a past, everyone has history, everyone has skeletons in their closet. But I just think now we're opening up the doors for everything. So everything's gonna come out.
So I'm glad you mentioned that because once again, let's use and once again, man, very trying to be sensitive to
Yeah.
to victims that were involved in any kind of
Okay.
abuse, violence, right? But I got to name a few. So like like Bill Cosby, R. Kelly, Diddy. You got one person comes out right to say,
Mm-hmm.
hey, this happened to me, right? This
Mm-hmm.
person did X, Y, and Z.
Right.
Now you've got hundreds upon people coming out saying, it happened to me too. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Or happened to me, or whatever situation is, right? So why do you think that is? Like, what stops? And there's no right or wrong answer to this, but what
Mhm.
stops people from coming out to like you said, speaking their truth? Because
Yeah.
once again, nobody cares until like you're affected by it.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
I mean,
You know,
it's a number of things. Fear is one. You
okay,
don't know the ramifications or the power they have. When you have somebody of these, I mean, think about somebody as big as Cosby, right? Like this was the childhood dad that everyone like looked up as a father.
right,
And then you find out this man was out here dropping people stuff in people drinks. Like, you know what I'm saying? And doing a lot of wild other stuff. So it's like this is a person that has so much power and a huge pillar of the community. So who's going to believe just an innocent person saying one thing, right? Now, if
yeah,
you got 100 people saying the same thing, all right, it can't be everyone else. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
all
yeah.
right, now we got to give it a little more evidence. Like, okay, cool. Now, everyone's telling the same story. Now, it can't be everyone else in that regard. But a lot of times, like I said, it's fear. It's fear of a lot of people lose their careers, right? Because it ain't like it's like, oh, you'll get celebrated, you'll get a book deal. Now, if this person is a huge political figure, they gonna crucify you.
Yeah.
You got people crucifying women, like, why I had to say this, and this about Kelly. Now we can't play his music, but it's like, it's true.
Yeah,
We
it's true.
all watched videos of this man since we was teenagers.
Yeah, but I'm glad you mentioned that, right? Because once again, it goes back to what we talked about earlier: the jokes, the memes,
Yeah,
the
I mean,
well, not even
no
the
one,
memes
no
back in
one
the day.
cared about it, right? It was
Right.
we had a whole skit on Chappelle called "I Want to Pee on You." Like,
Yeah.
what more evidence do you want? You know what I'm saying? Like, that was a whole skit, and people laughed. It was hilarious and this and that, but it was like that. You know what I'm saying?
That
Like
really was happening.
everyone's saying the same story for 15, 20 years. Like,
Yeah.
come on, the same thing. If people keep saying the same thing, typically when you have that person that's in the life and they say, hey, that's a crackhead for 15 years, change all you a crackhead. Like, it's
You
not that
sound like
hard.
what's up, man?
Mathis. I know
Yeah.
you.
I,
You a crackhead, ain't you? Right?
I smell a little crack on you.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, it's a lot of these things we've heard these people talk about these individuals for years.
Yeah.
In Kelly's case, we've seen evidence. There was a tape when we were like teenagers, dog. Like,
Yeah.
it was nothing new. And then I think the most disheartening thing now is to see all these people who have platforms to come back and be like, yeah, we've been through this.
So why didn't you say
Like that's the like, dog. Just imagine you have a loved one who's been a victim of these individuals, and then you have all these people come out and say, yeah, we've been through that business the thing.
or
Like, that was
what,
just
what
regular
makes it
day.
even worse is you being in the room with this type of stuff. So like Nick Cannon had an interview a long time ago, and he was talking about how to that point. Like
Yeah.
there young women in the industry and young men being abused,
Groomed.
taken advantage of,
Yeah.
groomed,
Yeah.
and nobody said anything, right?
No, it's just normal.
It was normal.
But you look at most childhood stars or rappers or entertainers, they all messed up, dog. It's
Yeah,
very few to get away. Like a lot of them are messed up
yeah,
because they have to go through so much. But again, it's just normal. So we
yeah,
just make everything normal. And then now when people start speaking out, no one cares. But
yeah.
this is the same reason why people commit suicide. This is the same reason why people go out, kill people, they harm themselves, they do all these heinous things because they feel like my voice don't matter, nobody care.
Nobody
I
cares.
went and told my story and no one, they laughed at me. They made memes, they joked about it. So again, we don't take any of those things serious until it's someone like you said that, dang man, you know, my coworker just committed suicide.
Yeah,
Now it's, oh yeah, we gotta spread awareness. Well, you saw that she was depressed every day she came to work. You
Yeah.
ain't have a conversation with her then. We can't, a lot of times we can't see beyond ourselves, Herb. I would say is the biggest symptom that we face here, that if it ain't you, if it don't affect your everyday life, it's hard
we
for
don't
people
care.
to stop and look beyond themselves. Say, hey man, how's your day? Like, I can't tell you how many times I go into QT or somewhere, or Walmart or something, or Target, or I'm going into a store and I'm like, yeah, how you doing today?
Yep.
People are so flustered to even answer the question because no one has even said like, how's your day? They be like, dang, how am I doing? Like, no one asked me that day. I've been at work for 5 hours.
Yeah.
And something as simple as that. Even, you know, I'm a huge component of having great customer service, but I also understand that people are human. People have lives. People are going through things. It's the holidays. A lot of people working extra hours, struggling, trying to get these toys because the world has told them they have to get all these
You gotta have it,
extravagant
right.
things, all these deals going on. And a lot of people are messed up because of that. And sometimes we over criticize them for like, where your customer service? Like sometimes people just try to figure out how they gonna get home from work.
Yeah.
And
So-
you know what I'm saying? And they dealing with a lot of those every day. So we can't see beyond ourselves and just go off the cuff, off the handle. Yeah, they gotta do like, yeah, give people grace, man.
Cause it's not you. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's once it goes back to what we said earlier.
Yeah.
Nobody cares until it
But yeah,
happens
like you
to
said, it doesn't. It has nothing to do with you. Like I just lost my job. My wife just said she wants to divorce me. Right.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out how we can pay our mortgage this month. Like, it's people have real live problems, and you have people on the other side that have problems. Like, man, I gotta pay this bill. I mean, I got the money, but I gotta pay it. Some people would love to be in that position.
Right.
Like, what? You got the
So-
money, and your complaint is that you have to pay it.
So let me ask you a question. I'm glad you mentioned it. Have you ever been in a situation where you took for granted until whatever that scenario happened to you?
I wouldn't say necessarily a scenario, but I think a lot of times when we work jobs, when you have those jobs that you hate or complain about, you always have those moments like, dang, we go to another job, it's something that's a little different or off and it's not the same. You like, dang, man, I ain't realize how good I have it. I think we all have moments of realizing like, dang, even in school, I was a person, I'm trying to get out of school ASAP. Like I was going to summer school, like trying to get out of college ASAP. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but I just was like trying to get out and do my thing. But a lot of those moments, like, dang, I could have took more time to develop, meet a little more people, mingle a little bit, you know, get into more clubs and different things like that. So I always have those moments of like, dang, I probably should have took a little more time. But I've always been a forward thinker. So with me, I move fast on a lot of different aspects. But I would definitely say probably realizing like a lot of employment situations or even just making moves, even like in relationships now, you realize like, dang, why I move like that? Why I had to do this and that? Like, dang, I could have took a little more time to learn, you know, this and that. But you know, you learn a lot of those things as you get older. You realize and you sit back on it. Not that I live with regrets by any means, but you think about situations and realize like, dang, sometimes you don't really know how good you have things until you don't have those things. And then you realize like, whew, I don't know about you, but if you've ever had a car and went to not having a car, or if you have a spouse having to go from 2 cars to 1 car, it humbles you, dog. It changes everything. Like realizing like, okay, I get off at 5. okay, my wife don't get off till like 8, but she gotta go do like how we gonna make this work?
How we
And
gonna
it,
make it work, right?
like different sides of town, it's like different things you look at and don't realize how good. So I try my absolute best to be appreciative of everything and not try to have a, oh, I can't believe I gotta pay this or this and that. Cause I understand life gonna life, it's gonna do what
Yeah.
it do. And you gotta just learn to accept it. And I think once you have that outlook, it'll be much different. But what about you, man? I know
I'm
you
I'm a,
always got something tucked. I know you done had
yeah,
some situation where you like, dang, man.
family members, man.
I bet.
You know what I'm saying? Family members, not saying taking it for granted, but you feel like, they
You got
always
more
gonna be here.
time?
Got more time. First experience, I was 15. When I moved to Virginia, and spending time with my grandmother the weekends, right?
Mhm.
I would go over there every Friday to Sunday, like for years. As I was getting older, getting into sports, like those visits went from every weekend to every other weekend to like once a month, and and I'm gonna get to it, and
Yeah, I
I'm gonna
got
go
you.
see. You know what I'm
I'm
saying?
gonna
Yeah,
see
I'm gonna
you.
go. Got a phone call that my grandma had passed away, like, and it was like I was literally going over there that weekend. She had died. You know what I'm saying? So it was
Mm.
like trying to understand, the importance of time and spending time with family. You know what I'm saying? So I would say that would be one of the situations where like I didn't really think about death until it happened, until I experienced my first
Right.
real loss. You know what I mean? So
Right.
and I tell people all the time, man, like you have to take life, seriously, as far as like, time waits for no one. So while you have things or while you have people around, appreciate them. You know what I'm saying? Or be thankful for the things you have. Just
Yeah.
speaking about the situation like with your job, you know what I'm saying? Or with a job. I've been on jobs where I hated them, you know what I'm saying? And then going from that job to not having a job is like, man, wow,
Whew.
like, you know what I'm saying? Like once
Struggle,
again,
boy.
like what do
You
you
like
do?
you willing to take whatever. Like I do whatever. I'll spend a sign out there again. I did that before.
Right.
What you
But
need?
but see, then that goes back to like we've been saying this whole entire episode, right? When you look at people, and I speak to everyone, right? You know what I'm saying? I treat everybody with the same respect, same dignity, regardless what profession you are in. But then people overlook like, okay, well, cool. I never do fast food, right? Until you need to do fast food, right? You know what I'm saying? Now it's like, oh wow, now I'm in the same scenario that I
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
look past. So once again, it goes back to people don't really care
Being humble.
until you're humbled and
Yeah.
this happened to you, man.
You can
So
definitely get humbled.
right. I wanted to touch on something else, man. Because we kind of talked about it as well too, man. But like, do you feel like we've created an environment where people are afraid to speak up and speak out about any scenarios that go on? They're not necessarily abuse, just like, for instance, if you were struggling with financial situation,
Yeah.
people are not forthcoming to say anything like, man, I'm messed up out here or whatever situation is. So like, do you feel like that's what we become? Like we just afraid to admit anything or
Yeah.
ask for help. You know what I'm saying? And what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so I go out to speak to the youth, and I do a lot of motivational speeches, and to companies and and youth groups and churches. And my very first thing that I always tell people, no one cares. And they'd be like, "What? Like, who starts off like that?" I'm like, "No one cares."
Right. That's the
They be like,
reality
"What
though.
would you mean?" I'm like, "No one cares." And I'm like, you have to understand that mindset that no one cares. And it sounds harsh, but it doesn't necessarily mean like people have their own lives, right? And sometimes you're not a priority in their life, and there's nothing wrong with that, don't get it wrong. But people live in their own lives, they have their own demons, their own things they're going through, their own circumstance, their own situations. So people don't care about what you have going on. And so it's a hard pill to swallow because you have to accept the fact that this person may not be available when I need them because they have their own situations and circumstances. Now,
Right.
should it always be like that? No. You should be able to reach out to people and say, "Hey, look, man, things ain't a certain way." But we have definitely created an environment where it's not a safe space for people to speak their truth by any
Yeah.
means, particularly for men. A lot of men are holding on and dealing with John because they know, like, who cares what I think?
Yeah. Or
Who
you'd be looked
cares? Like,
you looked
if
at
I'm
as
going
weak
through, if
or
I'm
less than a
struggling, it's
man.
weak,
Right.
it's emotional. You supposed to be strong. You supposed to pay my bills. You like sometimes you want somebody like, yo, how are you? And if you notice, whenever I hit you up, it's never like, how the fam. I always, and if you answer, if I say, how you doing? You say, where the fam? I say, no, how are you doing? I
Yeah, yeah,
always make it a point. Anytime I'm reaching out to any of my homies, like, yo, how you doing? They be like, yo, you know, the fam, why? Oh, no. How are you doing?
yeah, yeah.
And every time people have a pause because, again, it's not a normal question.
No.
It's not a normal opportunity where you can just speak like, look, man, I'm sick of this job. These kids getting on my nerves. Dang on wife want me to do this and that. And she want me to go here and meet this person. I ain't never met this dude, but she just think we gonna be friends because we both like basketball. Like, I don't want to do it. And sometimes people think that that's bad, but sometimes you just need that voice to be able to speak, that sounding board to just speak like, who, let me just get this off me.
Yeah.
And sometimes just saying what's on your mind or your heart just makes you feel better. Like, all right, man, I'm glad I got to say that, man. I feel so much better. But
Yeah.
we deem everything as bad or negative. So if I have a difference of opinion with Herb, it's negative. If I say, Herb, I hear what you're saying, but I disagree with that. That's
Yeah,
negative.
it should be nothing should be wrong with it. I mean, we have conversations, and I mean, people. I know we appear to be all laugh smile. But me and my brother, we get into some real deep conversations, but doesn't affect any type of relationship, brotherhood,
Yeah,
nothing like that. I think people should have that. Like you said, like I should be able to say, I see where you coming from.
but
However,
this is
this is
what
how
I
I
this
feel.
is what I
Right.
see, and this is how I feel, and that's okay.
It
And,
should be
it's
okay.
like I value you, Herb. What you said, I just don't value you more than I value myself.
That's
So,
correct.
and it's okay with that. But again, we don't create that within ourselves. So, of course, it's not. We can't even tell somebody that we down bad. Dog, I just need $20 to get some gas from
Yeah.
QT. We can't even say that because it's like, well, what you do? Like people want to give you 21 questions. What difference does it make why I ain't got the money? Do you gonna help me or not? Like
Right.
it's like, dog, I'm
But
$20.
then when it's on the flip side though, now it's
Yeah,
now I see where you were. Now I need the help. Now, am I gonna come to you for help when I didn't, what I'm
yeah.
saying, extend that? So
Uh,
no, I feel
if
you.
someone's reached out to me and need help like that, I'm not gonna. Now, of course, if you getting something, I feel like it's something illegal. Like, yeah, I just need this business idea. Nah. Wait a minute. You got to give me a business plan or something. Now, you got to comment, and you got to fix that joke
You,
like we on Shark.
you ain't trying to get into the crypto now? You ain't
No,
trying
no, sir. No blue sign people, none of that. No, I'm gonna give me 1,000, I'm gonna make you 10,000. None of that.
I got
But if it's just a hey dog, like whatever, like it don't have to be no thought out, hey man, I'm really just hey man, you think you can look out for whoop whoop, like my, most time I'm definitely gonna be, I got you, dog. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like if
you.
I
Yeah.
can help somebody, by all means, if I can help you, certainly. I've been in situations where as they say, I was down bad. Like, dang, boy, I gotta figure out. That's how me and my wife even got joint finances because we never had the conversation about finances before we got married.
And
We
then
almost 2 years in, and I'm on Wednesday, and I don't get paid till Friday. And I'm like, whew, need about $40 to put in the Cadillac, boy, so I could get me straight till Friday.
right.
Meanwhile, I asked my wife, like, hey, you got, throw $40 you can throw your boy. She's like, yeah, go get it. Go to her account. It got a comma on that joint. And I'm in this joint stuck. But again, because I didn't have that conversation,
Yeah.
whenever it was introduced. So sometimes you just got to have a conversation. And like I said, if somebody gives you that negative reaction or whatever, cool. I know how to go to you next time. But
Mhm.
typically when you do that, it always comes back where, hey man, the wife they ain't gonna take my car, and hey man, you're trying to see if you can pick me up for the airport. Whoo,
So,
whoo.
so
How that Joe change around?
So let me ask you this, man, before we get out of here, man. How do we change that mentality as a people in order to create more awareness when it comes to certain situations, man? Like, how do we get out of that? Hey, man, it ain't me mentality, And you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
What can we do
I
to
think I've
change that?
mentioned it several times here. Think beyond yourselves.
Okay.
I think definitely practicing grace. Understand we're not perfect. That doesn't mean that we just gonna let people mess over us, but understand that like people gonna make mistakes, people gonna struggle, people gonna have to fix things and get things right, and sometimes they need a couple more chances to go through. But it's like give people that grace to say, all right, you human, things gonna happen.
Yeah.
You have to see beyond yourself and not just only think about you and what you got going on. Cause I say it all the time, man, people is hurt. People
Yeah.
are really hurting right now, especially during the holidays. A lot of people have lost loved ones, not gonna ever see that loved one again, and now they have to deal with these holidays. A lot
Yeah.
of parents out here trying to work multiple jobs, trying to work overtime, trying to put stuff on layaway, put stuff here, there to make sure they can give these kids a Christmas. A lot of people are hurting right now,
Yeah.
trying to figure out jobs. So man, we just have to practice grace and just treat everyone, fairly. Like, just be nice to people. Really, sometimes it's just a simple. How are you doing today?
Yeah.
Even when someone comes with the attitude, you okay today? You good? You
Yeah.
straight? I've had that at Walmart. Anyone know black women don't and customer service, they don't like to return nothing. They look at you like, well, what happened to it?
Why are you
What's
bringing this
wrong with
back?
it? You know what I'm saying? How are you hit it? You good? How you doing today? You all right?
Yeah.
You know what? I'm not. They didn't call me at work. I just my off day. And sometimes that one simple thing can switch it. Understand that you don't always have to turn up. Understand you don't always have to go off on somebody. But just practice being nice to people. I think definitely will make it easier. But also as it relates to the bigger matters of things of people telling their truths and past traumas and things that have hurt them, allow people that platform to speak their truth without dismissing what they saying.
Judgment. Right.
Yeah, like I ain't hurt your feelings. Like I'm telling you, you did. Though. Like
Yeah.
not
Have an open mind to listen to it.
right.
You know
Like
what I mean?
let them. Like their truth is their truth. It doesn't mean that it's a fact. This is how they felt, how it made them feel. Allow people to have that, and get back to having healthy conversations. If that means that if you feel like I can't have this conversation because it's gonna go left, get a mediator in between. Right? Hey,
Yeah.
let's have this conversation where we can be on even playing field to speak our truths to work through those differences, man. But definitely, I'll say my last point, man, is realize that life really is short, as Irv has said several times, and a lot of people be here today and gone tomorrow. And we used to hear that from our grandparents so long, but now it's like the parents and grandparents outliving the kids now.
Yeah. Death is happening at such a
And it's
rapid
nothing but
rate,
older
man.
people at funerals now. Ain't no young people in funerals now
No.
because all the younger people is dying early.
Yeah.
You got parents and grandparents burying their kids and grandchildren. It ain't supposed to be like that, though.
No, it's not.
So realize that life is really short, and you have to be, thankful for every day that you have, every moment that you have, every opportunity that you have, regardless of how bad it may look or feel. Understand that things are never what they appear to be.
Yeah.
My last thoughts.
Hey man, I'm gonna just finish it up with protect your home, protect your family, but also have a heart and compassion for others. You know what I'm saying? Especially like you
definitely.
said, around the days that we live in. Um, I understand. Hey, mind your business. I said I'm a huge advocate. If it don't, certain situations, mind your business. But if you
In
know
context, certain situations,
certain situations, right?
not everything.
Not everything. But if you have a family member, a loved one, you know what I'm saying, that is struggling or dealing with something and they may not be willing to speak out, you know what I'm saying? Even though it's not you, extend a hand. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It doesn't necessarily be financial. To your point, like be an ear, be a shoulder, you know what I'm saying? Because once again, around the holidays, loved ones not being here, you know what I'm saying? Like it's a constant reminder for me, every holiday that passed for the last 4 years, every big celebration,
Hard.
I'm not able to pick up the phone,
Right.
call my mom. I'm not able to pick up the phone, call my grandmother, call my,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? So I just think that, just like you said, get from outside of yourself and just always, like I said, hey man, at one point, that could be me. I don't ever want to be there. So if I have an opportunity to help individuals, you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? I ain't saying I'm gonna go all out all my way. However, I do realize that I'm blessed and I could very well be on the other side of that fence. So I'm gonna leave it with, man, listen, just have a heart, show people some grace, you know what I'm saying? Because you never know when you may be in a situation. Just because it apply to you now doesn't mean that it can't apply to you later. So that's all I got, brother.
Shout out, man. Hey, speak y'all truths, man. Get out there, seek therapy. I know it's really frowned upon in our communities, but a lot of people are getting some great deserved healing.
Yep.
Healing from a lot of traumas, a lot of past things they have gone through or experienced and didn't even realize that they were going through or holding on to. So definitely talk to your peoples and make sure that you get an opportunity to speak your truth. We definitely appreciate y'all for tuning in. Hey,
Thank you.
the next time y'all hear us, which will be next week, we're gonna be in December officially, which means I better hit in my mind going somewhere
Hey,
or
just
Mariah
don't.
Carey all off of
No, no. Listen, let me go ahead and start the music on this one. I'm gonna tell you right now. This is your boy Irv. Okay, do not. I repeat, do not send me nothing with that Mariah Carey music. All I want for Christmas is you. I listen. Nothing against her. I love the music, but I worked retail for quite a time,
Many
quite a
years.
long time in my career. Right. I don't want to hear that no more, man. Now
That
you know what I'm
joint
saying. In
going
my mind is I,
going
I,
diamond this year.
I love that junk, but then listen. Let me tell you something. If you send me the Mariah Carey joint, it's gonna be a problem showing up to your front doorstep. That's all I got, bro. Just
Hey, he's just playing, y'all. Yeah, I'll go ahead and send it, man. We
yeah,
definitely
send it to me. Listen, hey, what Jeezy tell? Hey, I tell you what.
I tell you one thing about it, two things
Yeah,
for
I
certain.
tell you what. No, I'm just playing.
Hey, Kinfolk, we definitely appreciate y'all for tuning in. Happy early December, even though it won't be December till next episode, but happy early December. Don't go out and go broke for these kids. They're gonna be all right. But we definitely appreciate y'all for tuning in. And please, please, Kinfolk, remember when I talk, you talk, we talk. That's that free talk right here in the People's Podcast.
Peace.
Catch y'all next week.